I hope you all are doing well. So today we are going to see. So children, let's begin today's video with water as a universal solvent. Now children, because water can dissolve in it all the different kinds of matter, whether it is a solid matter, a liquid matter or a gaseous matter, it has the ability to dissolve every substance into it. More than 90% of the substances dissolve in water. That is why whether it is a solid, liquid or a gas, everything dissolves in water. That is why children, water is termed to be a universal solvent. However, certain substances dissolve rapidly, that means very quickly, whereas certain substances may dissolve at a slower rate. That means the speed at which the substances are going to dissolve in the water may vary from substance to substance. The substances that will dissolve rapidly in water, that means quickly, they are known as soluble substances like common salt and sugar. You must have seen your mothers mixing common salt, or you can even see at times during the summers we make certain shakes and all, or maybe ruafza and all you make, where you have to mix sugar into water. So that dissolves readily. So that is soluble substance. And the substances, children, which dissolve very little or they will not dissolve only, they are known as insoluble substances, right? Like you take some maybe wood pieces and you try to put them into water, or you take some sand and put it into water. So those are insoluble substances. Hard water and soft water. Now what is hard and soft water, children? Soft water is the water which forms the lather with soap easily. That means when you go to baths, children, when you're taking a bath, the moment you rub soap on your body with the help of a little bit of water, you will see a lot of foam is being formed with the soap water. So that kind of a water is known as soft water. And if the water that is there that you're using and it is not giving any lather with the soap, children, then it is known as hard water. Generally the well water or the spring water are hard water. Next we see, children, what is the importance of the dissolved gases in the water. Now children, dissolved gases in the water, they provide taste to the water. Right now you must have experienced and you must have heard when we have fever, we go to the doctor. At times doctor says to drink the boiled water. The taste of the boiled water is very different from the normal water that we drink every day. Why? Because when we boil the water, children, the gases that are dissolved in the water, they escape out. And when the gases escape out, children, they change the taste of the water. The water taste becomes very, very flat and you don't like it. So it is the dissolved gases that provide the taste to the water. Oxygen dissolved in the water will of course help in the respiration and for the survival of the aquatic life. Aquatic life means the life that is existing in water. It may be plants as well as animals. Oxygen that is present in the water also helps to kill some of the harmful germs and bacteria which will otherwise cause a disease. Even the presence of oxygen will help to kill the disease causing germs. Similarly, carbon dioxide dissolved in water is a good source of food for the water plants. Children, why? Because these water plants are also able to do photosynthesis in the presence of sunlight. So the carbon dioxide that is required, they get it from the one that is dissolved in the water. Now children, here comes one reason, and this is also very interesting to know, because many times you must have heard about this in the news and all, that the fishes start dying in the shallow ponds. Shallow ponds means the ponds that are not very deep during the summer seasons. Now why this happens, children? Because during the summer time, children, the temperature of the water increases so much that the gases that are present in the water, they start escaping out. That means they start moving out. Similarly, as I told you, when you boil the water, the gases escape. Similar to boiling over here is evaporation rate, children. The heat of the sun starts forcing the gases to move out of the water, and when they move out of the water, the aquatic life, that means the plants and the animals, both are being hampered because of that, both are being affected due to it, and so the fishes starts dying because they don't get enough amount of oxygen to breathe. Coming to the next heading, children, very important one, purification of water. how does the impure water is being purified before it is being supplied to our homes? Now, most of us these days, we don't depend upon the pipelines, the government pipelines that are supporting us or that are providing us with the water. But earlier children, the ones, or maybe the ones who are dependent on them, how is the water purified from the impure state to the pure state so that people can use it for drinking? Now there is a series of steps that are followed, children. The first one being pumping. The water from the rivers, lakes is first pumped into the pumping station where it is collected in the big reservoirs. Now first the water is made to be brought to the pumping stations and then it is collected over there in the big reservoirs. Then second step is, children, water that is collected in the reservoirs, that is, it is made to stand for some time. That means it is kept over there for some time so that the heavy particles, they start settling down in the tank. That is by the process of sedimentation. At times the chemicals like alum is also added. That speeds up the process of sedimentation. And when we add chemicals like alum, children, the process is known as loading or coagulation. The third process is, children, decantation. Now the clear water after the second step, that is decanted off. Decanted means it is transferred into the next chamber without disturbing the sediments that have settled down. Then comes the next step of filtration. After sedimentation, the water is filtered through a clean sand bed to remove the finer suspended particles. Even after the sedimentation process, children, certain very fine particles are still left back in the water. So those particles are removed by the process of filtration. Next is chlorination, children. Water is then disinfected. That means all the small germs, bacteria and all, they are killed by the process of passing chlorine gas. Now this chlorine gas will kill the bacteria and the harmful germs, and because chlorine gas is passed, the process is termed to be chlorination. Now here is a picture, and chlorination is the last step, children. After that, the water is being passed on to the pumping stations from where it goes and gets collected into the overhead tanks in your areas, and from there the people get the supply of the water through the various pipelines. Now this is first the pumping station, as you can see, the reservoir, the pumping station, then the settling tanks, right, the mixing chambers, then sedimentation tanks, sand and gravel filters, sand filters, chlorination tank, and finally the water goes to the overhead tanks, from the pumping station to the overhead tanks, and from here it reaches to our every individual home. Now what we had just read and learned is, children, when the water is to be purified on a bigger scale, then we follow all those steps. But in our homes, children, suppose we have to purify the water, then what do? First is boiling and straining. Water may be boiled and then it can be filtered with the help of clean cloths. So this will remove all the germs that are there in the water. Second is storage, children. The purified water should be stored in a clean container with a lid. Now what are the various uses of water? Now this is something very simple, and you are all aware how you are using the water in day-to-day life, or you are looking at your mothers how they are using. Water is used for drinking, for cooking and for washing purposes. Water is used for drinking. Water is used for irrigation, right? Next, seeds also need water in order to germinate. You know, children, germination is a process in which a plant starts developing from a seed, and that will only happen when it gets proper amount of water. Plants need water in order to make their food, you know, children, by the process of photosynthesis. Water is also used as a solvent to carry out various chemical reactions in our bodies. Our body also needs a lot of water. That is why from time to time we keep drinking water. In the industries, water is used for the production of electric power also, children. Now the electricity that is produced from say water, it is known as hydroelectricity. Water is used for making medicines. The syrups that you drink, children, the medicines that we eat, they all contain water. Water also helps to regulate. Regulate means to maintain a body temperature. Why? How? By the process of sweating and evaporation. During the summers, children, we sweat a lot. That helps to maintain our body Coming to the next heading, children, water pollution. So children, the dirtying of any water bodies by the mixing of various pollutants in it is known as water pollution. Water pollution basically means we are changing the properties of the natural water. There are vast amounts of water in the ocean, lakes, rivers, but it is easily getting polluted. The main sources of water pollution are, now these are certain main sources how the water gets polluted. Water pollution basically means any change in the condition of the surface or groundwater which will make it harmful for many purposes like cooking, drinking, bathing and washing. The water becomes unfit for all these purposes. Water which is used in agriculture, in industries and also for the construction purpose gets polluted because of water pollution, and then it cannot be used. All these practices result in the pollution of water. The sewage from the towns and cities, waste from the factories and industries, chemicals such as fertilizers and pesticides which flow into the rivers and the lakes, they form a major cause of water pollution. Now all these sources from where the water is coming and is getting mixed into the water bodies, or from where the chemicals are coming, and children, they are all getting mixed into the water bodies, they all cause different levels of water pollution. And when human beings consume this dirty water, then many waterborne diseases are caused, such as cholera, diarrhea, hepatitis. The germs are spread through the consumption of polluted water or cooking the food using this impure water. Hepatitis spreads due to the presence of the fecal matter in the water. Liver cells are damaged by hepatitis virus. Now the liver cells get damaged by this hepatitis, releasing the bilirubin that causes the jaundice. Cholera is present due to the bacteria. It spreads due to the bacteria. In the presence has the watery stool. In this, the person gets, in cholera, what do they get? They get the watery stools. In advanced stages, it can lead to the suppression of the urine. That means the person will not urinate only. Loss of minerals and may ultimately cause the death. Diarrhea form a group of infections of the intestinal tract. That means the intestine gets damaged or gets affected due to diarrhea. Food poisoning, etc. In severe condition, it again leads to frequent passage of stools with mucus and blood. That means along with this, the stools that are coming out, children, even the blood sometimes starts coming out in the adverse conditions of diarrhea. Coming to the last thing, the alarming facts about the water usage. That means most of the time we take water for granted. It is only during the dry summer that we need to use it carefully. In our country, each person uses about 300 liters of water approximately every day. Each person. That means it's a big amount of water that we Indians are using. Please check how much water you are using and also make sure that you are not wasting any water. Every drop of water means or counts a lot, because you know the existence of plants, animals and human beings all depends upon the presence of the water. And out of the major portion of the water that is present on our planet, children, only a very little amount of the water is actually the one that we can all use. That means the plants, animals and humans can actually use. So that fresh water supply is very less. So it becomes very essential for all of us to save this water. Life for our coming generation. So water is actually, it's a way in which people in the coming generations will be able to live and survive because of the presence of this precious thing which is known as water. So with this we come to an end of this lesson. I hope you liked the video. Thank you. I hope, children, after seeing the entire video and after listening to me very carefully, you have understood each and everything that I have tried to explain you. Now, if you have really understood the lesson well, don't forget to please subscribe, like and do share my videos with many of your friends so that they also are being helped by me, that is Mrs. D. Nandan. So, thank you and have a wonderful day ahead. Bye-bye.